I fucking love techno. Okay, so hi there. Freya's here once more. I have some extra stuff to share with you people. Let's see how this goes. I hope you enjoy this and share and comment. I want you to interact in these videos. But the topic is I think my whole life has been a lie, pretty much. So why do I say this? I heard something that Maya Angelou, a very smart, lovely, intelligent, and brave woman, super wise, said once on the internet with an interview with another woman interviewer. So the interviewer asked her, like, "Oh, you're not afraid at all," or something and something. And she said, "You know what? Whenever I accepted that I'm going to die, I started becoming more free, becoming more alive, becoming like some person who doesn't really worry too much about what I have to be, what I have to not." So when I said my life is a lie or has been a lie, is pretty much with this premise. Wait, what is this? You can't even see these earrings. Look at this hair. So much hair. But eventually, I had the same revelation a couple years ago. So I came out as a non-binary person first for 2 different years. And when I came out as a non-binary person, I told myself, you know what? We're tired dating all these beautiful women and walking out of the relationships. Like, I dated very beautiful, very smart, very independent women. And most of them eventually, no, most of them actually approached me in relation to wanting to get to know me and not vice versa. So I was never really trained or understood this idea of a guy going after a girl and then getting her number. I thought that's something like you have to do and force yourself to do. But now seeing myself, I'm seeing like literal men who just kind of come and say things without having a thought about it. They just come and they just have to talk to you. Right? I never had this kind of idea of going out talking to them and get their numbers. I had some people I liked, and I remember the last couple of people I went out with before coming out were these two, this one woman who I liked who worked at a bar, and I just went to her bar and I talked to her and I knew she'd like me. So eventually I just kind of brought it up. I'm like, you know what? I like you. I would like for us to get to know each other a bit more. But let me know. So eventually we dated, and she actually asked me out on our first date. And in our first date, she told me I never asked a male out before in my life. She was beautiful. She is still beautiful. But I was like, okay, I've never had myself ask a lot of women out. So I was kind of used to women asking me out. I'm not saying like I was gorgeous, but I was not ugly. Like, I had lots of luck and I was a different kind of person. So I was an interesting, kind of intriguing person. But eventually, so I had a couple women who told me this. They're like, I never really asked anyone out. I always have had people chase me, ask me out. And I never took this for granted. But going back to me being non-binary, I kind of always had the other person choose me, which kind of gave me a little bit of like boost of you're beautiful, you're attractive, I like you. But then most of these women were definitely very strong, very independent, very dominating, which is why I liked them to begin with, because they took the initiative to ask me out. But then it became a bit kind of, I would not say toxic, I just did not like it because I had these gender roles in my head that I wanted to decide what I want to do with my life. But in reality, a lot of women see men as more naive, if you can put it this way. So eventually, I was treated as a less of a being. Like, I was immature. I was also, the last 2, 3 people were definitely older than me, which was, I've dated a bunch of older women because usually, they know what they want, and I was kind of chill, so they like the vibe. But bottom line, I had relationships with people who told me they loved me, but then eventually they would just be pushing me to grow up, mature, do the right thing. You do not know what you're doing. You do not know how to live your life. You're lost. All men are young, naive, and whatever. I'm like, you know what? I know I'm trying, but like eventually I become them in this type of relationship. And after like a year or two, I'm start realizing like I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm tired of this control, playing roles, and trying to pretending like we care and we want to be here. But then eventually the issue was me. I came out as a non-binary, saying to myself, you know what, we're done with all these women and all these relationships that we kind of wanted. We created this ideal partnership with me, with another woman, having a couple of kids, living in a countryside in the suburbs, or having a couple of dogs and so. And then I started realizing like I created that image. And then I started destroying this image slowly. So now I'm in a place where I'm kind of stuck. I know I like the D, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna go maybe hang out with a girl or go on a date with a girl who likes me. But I mentioned this before. She needs to be dominating. I'm not gonna do any work. Not my problem. And I think this is a lot of issue, a big issue I'm having, or I had with women when I was non-binary. So when I came out as non-binary, I told myself I would never be able to date anyone. I would never be able to have a normal relationship. I'm gonna be alone doing this. Am I okay with this? And I told myself I'd rather be alone and myself than be in a relationship with someone and be not myself and be fake and pretend to be a different person. So I decided we're done. So my non-binary transition started with very little things. I think the first thing was me finding I like clothes from the street. So I found these pair of pants, uh, women's pants, and I took them home and I tried them on, and I'm like, wow, these pants are freaking amazing. I want more of these. So eventually, I kind of got myself out of this idea of, oh, there are men clothes and women clothes, but I like this women pants, and I'm supposed to be wearing these things. And I'm like, I'm non-binary. I need to break all these rules that I set to myself. So I started shopping, let's say online shopping, just going onto different sites and looking at things that I might be liking. And I was starting seeing things of, it's hard to leave your past and move forward very quickly, like 100%. You have to take steps. So the first step was to find these pants. The second step was to buy nail polish. And I didn't even paint every nail. I painted one nail here and one nail here. And I'm like, I'm a guitarist. This looks so cool. But when I was non-binary, I was still interested in women because that's all I knew. And I hated the label gay. I hated people calling me gay because all my life, people called me gay. I had girlfriends when we were dating calling me gay. And that just triggered the hell out of me. Now, I see why. I don't blame them, honestly. But I was trying so hard when I was dating all these lovely women. I was really trying to be the man they wanted because that's what society kind of told me to do. And I come from a country where you don't have any other option. If you're gay, you cannot marry anyone. Like, I was born in an Arabian country that is run by an Islamic Sharia law. There are no gay couples. There is no LGBT associations or pride. You don't see gay people. They get killed, they get run over, they get hunted down, they get hurt and sexually abused by the police themselves. So I think I created a whole facade of me being safe because I did have some of those men hunt me down, tried to do things to me, and did things to me. So growing up in my teenage years, I realized I need to play it cool to be safe. So I played the role. I was safe for a while until I left and went into another country. And then, yeah, like growing up, my late teens in the US was actually not very different. The US is a very masculine country, very masculine energy. I remember in California, I was in Fullerton, Orange County, which is an okay state, but it was also a Republican county. So it's not a place where you would find all the queers and the creatives and whatever. So eventually, I did not see gay people. I did not see different types of gay people. I did not see queers. That was not a thing. It was like 2010, 2000 something. And I did not have the experience of, because my idea of gay was a feminine boy who presented like a man. And I'm like, not me. So that's not me. me being trans makes a lot more sense because I don't see myself as a guy who just looks feminine. I see myself as a feminine person who's closer to a woman than to a guy. And this is also where the let's say, work needs to be done in relation to if I would go out with a gay guy or not, like dating. I don't know if a gay guy would actually be interested in me to begin with, but if it does happen, I think I would if they do not talk to me as I'm a guy. But I think that's where we have issues in all this scenario. If they're interested in me as a person, then yeah, we're okay. If they're interested in me because they think I'm a guy and they won't talk to me like they talk to other guys, then we might have issues. Like, I do not like how men talk to other men. There's a lot of, let's say, verbal aggression in some cases. Like, there's no limit. Sometimes it's very harsh. And I'm pretty sensitive, I would say. So I like things to be a bit more gentle. Like, be nice, use your words, be logical, think about what you're saying. Don't just blurt things out and call people names just because everyone is doing it. It's like, like, don't do this here with me. I'm not one of your dudes. Go do that with your dudes, not me. But eventually, 2 years as a non-binary person started very masculine, adding touches of femininity every other day, and eventually, I started buying makeup. I think I bought eyeliner first, like pencil eyeliner, and then I bought mascara, and then I bought blush, and then I started shaving my beard completely. And I have laser, so it's still in the process. But eventually, I started seeing the person that I am without all these layers or facades that I put onto myself to become in order to be a viable part of society. That is a problem. But eventually, I decided as a non binary person, I'm willing to lose everyone I know to be able to be myself. And I lost like 70-80% of my friends coming out as non male friends, coming out as non binary, and then trans women. So the transition into trans woman was eventually like when I was non-binary, I took hormones. I got them my own way because I wanted to feminize my body a little bit. And what I was obsessed with and still obsessed with is exactly what you see in this painting is the hips. Like, I wanted my hips to be bigger. I wanted my body to be a bit more equilibrado. No sé cómo decirlo en inglés, pero equilibrado significa algo que está like balanced. Okay? So I want my body to be balanced. I hated this top heavy, very tiny waist, very skinny legs. I like being tall. It's not a problem for me being tall. I just do not like wide shoulders. I like my hips, the center of my body, my hips to be wider, and then the top part to be smaller. I'm not going to be fighting anyone. I never liked fighting. So I don't think it helps with anything having a wider shoulder on top. But eventually, I stopped my hormones because I told myself I need to accept the reality and nature of my own body and not to take these hormones because I want these superficial things that most. And I was actually looking down at trans women at the time, like all these fake trans women want just the beautiful physical part of what womanhood is about. And then eventually I stopped for 6 months and I kind of told myself to accept my body and my curves and whatever. But then I started having issues. Whenever I walk outside my house, I just look at women who do not do anything, like put just out any pair of pants, any pair of jeans or a t-shirt, and they just look gorgeous. And I just have 3 hours doing my makeup, not this, before when I first started. And I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, this is unfair. This is just not good. And then I started realizing my clothes were the problem because I'm just having a very top heavy style. And I started changing my clothes and I started realizing it's not my clothes. It's my freaking hips. So I got back to the hips. And I remember this because it was September 23rd of last year. So September 23rd, 2023. It's a good date. I came out as a trans woman. And I did not like that idea. I hated that idea. I'm like, now life is going to be too hard. I would not be able to travel to like 50% of the countries around the world. I probably would have even less of a chance to have relationships and even higher chances of being assassinated. Great. I'm going to be myself. Hooray. But I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how I'm going to rent an apartment. I don't know how I'm going to find a job. I don't know how I'm even going to go to a supermarket and ask for help because sometimes people just look down at you. They think you're crazy. They think you're insulting to women. They think you're mentally ill. And most of these are not true now because I just pushed myself to do all the things that I was afraid of doing, wear all those heels, wear those short skirts, put all the makeup, walk out and own it, and realized I had some people, usually younger girls or girls in their 20s, 30s, approach me, say nice things just to make me feel comfortable. I think, and they actually liked seeing someone a bit different. It's like, yes, we like this. It's okay. We know a lot of people do not have the, let's say, courage to do this kind of thing. But eventually now, a year and so later, I am transitioning completely, 100%. There is no going back. And I just realized like everything I had thought of as myself, my 20s, was just a bunch of lies. Let's say a scenario I created when I was 12 years old, when I was pissed off at my parents and the scenario I was living in. And I wanted to run away. I did not know what to do. So I told myself the best way to actually be happy and accept this is to go strive to get this girlfriend, to have these two kids, to get this dog, and to move into a house with your wife and move away from all this crap. But that didn't work, and that's not going to work. I don't know what the future will hold, to be honest. It could be a person who's trans, non binary, cis. At this point, I do like some physical touch, and I do like sex to be an intimate act. So I do, like I said, I like the D, so I probably would end up with someone who's masculine or with a masculine male body. Not male, but masculine body in the sense that they have the tools, right? So with this, it's coming to also the realization of now that I know myself a little bit more, I'm also realizing that my goal in life is also different. Like, I don't have to run away and start chasing after this relationship scenario. And instead, I'm now looking inwards into myself. Wouldn't you tell? So, with this, I would say it's going to be complicated for you to see that you have created a scenario for yourself when you were too young, and it's going to be very hard for you to break out of that reality because you created that, and that would be the goal of your life, is to chase that dream, chase that image that you created of yourself as an adult. So for me, this is right now, and I think now back to Maya Angelou, I am very free because when I came out as trans, like I said, I am more prone to danger. People will be aggressive with me, like not just men. Women are also aggressive. Women will say weird things. Women will give you dirty looks. Some women will even approach and tell you not to be in certain places. I don't care about locker rooms. I don't care about whatever people changing. I know. I wouldn't even want to be changing in front of you. I don't even like to look at myself in the mirror because of certain parts of my body. So if you think I'm here and you make this all about you, you need to really think of what trans women are dealing with. Like, dysphoria is not something that trans women enjoy. Like, you don't think, you should not be thinking like a trans woman in a dressing room for women is going to be thinking about other women. She might be, but all is going on in her head is hatred toward her own body. And she's going to be reverting her eyes away from anyone who looks like a woman because that keeps reminding her that she is having a body that she doesn't like. And she's not thinking about you. All she's thinking is wanting to cry and wanting to run away and probably do something stupid and end everything. It's not about you. Like, you're used to look at men as predators. Trans women are not men. Like, you need to separate these two things. And this is where the whole issues comes in, mostly in the United States, honestly. But I just avoid certain places because I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. Like, sometimes even when I go to the bathroom, I usually just go to the bathroom with my headset, kind of wobbling my way into the stall, and I just walk in, walk out, fix my hair, do my makeup. I don't look at anyone. I'm not trying to make a scene or anything, but I did have a ex-friend, trans woman, who was a bit intense. Like literally, I remember one time, and this just triggered me a lot. We were in a women's bathroom. We walked together. I go to the stall. She walks out earlier. There were other women in the bathroom. She starts screaming in the male voice, like literal guy voice. And I was just like, why would you do this? And when I confronted her, she told me, like, yeah, well, that's the law. They need to get used to it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, they don't need to get used to it. You might be causing people to be triggered. You might be causing traumas to be triggered. This is not something you want to be doing. Why is this necessary? Why is this necessary? So, besides other red flags, I just cut my friendship with this person completely. And I told him, you're not a healthy person. You're a very toxic person. And I do not like to be around you because you make me feel that. And you make me want to think of what to say to you all the time and how to interact when I'm around you and be on my toes every time I walk next to you. I don't want to be dealing with this. So, I look cute today. Let me show you the outfit. The outfit is nothing new, honestly, but I added this just for shits and giggles. But I don't know if I actually want to take this off, keep it on. It just kind of hides my shoulders, and that's just the whole problem at this point. So, self-love and patience. Self-love is not going to work. If there's something you hate, it's going to chase you all your life. You can accept certain realities, but then all you're doing is giving up on yourself. So you can tell someone who got beaten by her husband that just accept yourself and reality. This is the way it is. And you can do that. And then you will deal with it every time it comes up. But I don't think that's a healthy way of thinking. If you see something that you want to change, I think it's healthier to actually go and change it, instead of just sit in a scenario that you think is not good and just say, I need to accept it, and maybe just go pray to God and put all my issues into other people and solve their problem so that makes me feel better. Figure it out. I gotta go.